Eat, Sleep, Boxing, Repeat. Delighted to be joined by Paul Kelly from another boxing betting tip show. Paul, say this every week now, but I just can't believe how much boxing there is at the moment. It feels like since kind of September, October time, whether it's been in the US or the UK, there's big shows every week, which kind of means from the betting side of things, we've always got plenty to talk about. But yeah, thanks for joining us again. How's things with you?
Yeah, I echo what you say there. Absolutely true. There's so much going on, and not to mention the fact that we were meant to have Liam Williams, weren't we, against Chris Eubank as well?
Yeah,
Chris Eubank Jr. this weekend. So in a way, I'm kind of glad that's not on, because it would have been an absolute head pickle trying to pick something. But yeah, I'm all good, man. How are you?
Absolutely, all good, mate. All good. Side point. I was actually at the Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall press conference today, and we were reminded that the original date was not this weekend but next weekend as well. So that would have been another big British fight happening around this time period. But obviously, we know that's not happening till February. But yeah, it's all pretty mental. But as always, we'll get straight into it. Interested, yeah. As always, I've got no idea what you're about to say. You've got no idea what I'm about to say. Really interested what you're going to throw at me this week. What are your tips?
So I've got a few that kind of tickled my fancy, but I'm going to start on Friday night. And one that kind of jumped out to me at the Mick Hennessy show is at the top of the bill, you've got Isaac Chamberlain against Dylan Prozovic. And I really like, Isaac Chamberlain's I really like watching Isaac Chamberlain, always have from when he turned pro. I know we haven't seen as much of him as we would have liked through injury and other things in his career, but I know he's been fighting the odd time, and since he's been back on Channel 5, I'm pretty sure he's stopped everybody.
Yeah.
But that's a limited level opposition. I still think he'll win comfortably this weekend, but I think 7-2 on points is quite a big price.
Okay.
So I that's my first kind of betting tip that I've seen that I really like. Chamberlain to beat Prozovic on points is 7-2.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one, because I feel like although Chamberlain's been on a KO streak, I feel like those guys he's been knocking out are quite a few levels below Prozovic. So yeah, going to be an interesting fight. I feel like, I know with Chamberlain, I think he's got 13 wins and 7 of them are by stoppage. So it's pretty much 50-50 whether he's going to win by stoppage or points, if he does win, of course. But yeah, I think 7-2 on points is a decent shout. I think it's, apart from obviously the Okoli fight, it's the toughest fight of his career. So yeah, we'll have to. And I feel like with Prozovic, a lot of people might assume because he got stopped by Okoli, the same thing is going to happen. Whereas, that's not, as we know, it's not how boxing works. It could very well go to points. I think it's the sort of fight where 2 or 3 rounds in, we'll kind of know if it's going the distance or not. Yeah. That's what I think personally.
For sure, yeah. Apart from maybe, like you said there, I'd say it's definitely up there within his toughest couple of fights, because as you said, although Prozovic did get knocked out, Okoli's been on a really good run. And maybe the other ones you could maybe mention were, the start of his career for the Southern Area title when he fought Vladi Camacho.
Yeah.
Dislocated his shoulder. He won that on points in the end. And then he beat Luke Watkins, I believe, on points as well.
That's true.
Again, when he's fought a decent level opposition, or something going into something which is kind of a 60 or 60-40 or a 50-50 fight, it's kind of gone the distance. So that was my thinking for that one.
Yeah, it's a good point. I hadn't thought of that, mate. So yeah, good point. Yeah, no, interested to see what happens on Friday night. Not long to wait now. Cool. I've gone for a change. I've gone a little bit safer this week. Because I'm kind of tired of losing money. So that's the main reason for going safe. There's a cut. Yeah, I'll just go through them quickly. I've gone Katie Taylor to win on points, because I've not looked at her resume, so I'm not actually sure when she last won a fight by stoppage, but I feel like it must be a while ago. I know she's an undefeated fighter, but I feel like it feels like the last few fights it's been by points. I'm just have a quick look now. Yeah, the last 6 fights have all gone the distance. So it's only odds of 2-5. It's obviously not great odds for her to win on points. I've also gone Dmitry Bivol. He's fighting Umar Salimov. I feel like that's a fight that's kind of gone under the radar in this country this weekend. He's 8-13 to win on points, which again, not amazing odds, but not awful odds either. Dmitry Bivol's won his last 5 fights on points. So again, 8 to 13, not amazing odds, but just there. There's kind of if you want to do a double or a treble, it's maybe worth putting those two in. However, the fight I want to talk to you about, the fight that interests me, Conor Benn, Chris Algieri. Conor Benn to win on points is 13-8. And I think that if you consider Algieri's only been stopped by Errol Spence, Conor Benn's last fight went the distance. I think 13-8 Ben on points is a good bet. And yeah, I'm interested to see what you think, if you want to slag off those predictions or not. Yeah, interested to see what other betting tips you've got as well.
Yeah, I think with the Ben one there, I think you're absolutely right. I think me, you, and Greg talked about this the other day as well. And this probably is, I think Greg mentioned, his last two fights was at Granados and Vargas. I think this is a tougher test. So I think it is likely to see Ben, going the distance. And Chris Algieri, he does like a wee bit. I think he likes a bit of a scrap as well. So I don't think he'll go down lightly, or he's definitely not over for a payday. So I think that 13-8 price for Ben on points, yeah, could be a good shot. I do agree with you there. Funny you mentioned the Bivol fight. I was actually going to go for a Bivol stoppage, which was 7-4. But the only reason I said that is because I'm using the same point as you, but kind of in reverse, where you said his last 5 have gone to points. So I'm kind of thinking that he almost needs a statement win, because to remind people how good he is, because he's clearly a really, really good fighter. And I mean, his opponent, I don't know too much about, but I mean, I think he'll definitely win. I think you're right. But if you don't want to take Elliot's tip of points, why not take a gamble on the 7-4 Bivol stoppage?
Yeah.
But the other two, I've got another two which kind of caught my eye, and it's the Lomachenko Richard Comey fight. And I think we'll probably be in agreement that we both think Lomachenko will win. And I actually think Lomachenko will be able to force a stoppage in the second half of the fight, which is 11-8.
Okay.
It's 11-8 for Lomachenko to win by KO, TKO, or DQ in this round 7-12. So I think that's quite a good price. And then the final one I'll mention before we do any special bets or anything is, this might be very unpopular with some people, but I think Nadine Donaire might get beat this weekend.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, that's another big name that's fighting this weekend that, again, feels like we've gone over the radar. We've got so many like pound for pound stars fighting this weekend, but yeah, interesting. You think he could lose this weekend? Yeah,
he's fighting that fella Gaballo, isn't he? I think that's how you pronounce his name. 24-0, I believe, something along those lines. He's definitely undefeated. He's got quite a few knockouts as well, although at a lower level. He did step up the last time out and beat, is it Emmanuel Rodriguez?
Okay.
I think.
Good fighter, yeah.
Beat him on points, and Gaballo just to win is 11-4. So if you fancy a wee underdog bet, because obviously we see quite a lot of underdogs winning these days. Absolutely. If you fancy an underdog, I think he's only mid-20s as well, 25, 26.
Yeah.
Donaire's 39, and obviously Donaire recently has been really, really good. Like some of Donaire's wins recently have been amazing. And it's almost like when you just think his career is about to end, he's just come in with these knockout wins from nowhere against these up and coming animals, so to speak. But you always go now thinking, could this one be one too many?
Yeah,
might well be. So I think that Gaballo at 11-4 might be a little bit too much big of a price.
Okay, interesting stuff. I mean, I feel like it's always interesting where I love fights when there's such a massive age gap. As you mentioned, it must be about 15-year age gap between those two guys. There's obviously in different stages of their careers, and it's interesting what's Donaire got left, and is it too early? Like there's so many questions, but as you said, I think it's been the year of the underdogs in boxing. It really has been. It's been so many upsets over the course of this year. Cool. I think this is the part of the show where we tally up the odds that we've done. I've got a feeling we're going to have slightly different returns, by quite a long way. I'll go first. So just to confirm, Bivol on points, Katie Taylor on points, Conor Benn on points. £10 returns you £60, which is a decent amount at this time of year. Again, I think competent Katie Taylor win on points. You've got me second guessing myself about Dimitri Bivol now that you've said that, but I'm still sticking to my guns. And yeah, Conor Benn obviously 13-8. Perhaps that could be a bet in itself if you like those odds. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah, definitely good value for money there, I believe. I think yours is far more likely to happen than mine, just the way it goes. Because I always try and pick something a little bit um out there. So yeah, if you put my Lomachenko second half of the fight at 11-8 and the Chamberlain points at 7-2 and Gabayo to beat the Nair at 11-4, if you put that into a treble, it's just below 40-1. So tenner will return you £400.
Yeah,
So yeah, there you go. Put tenner on each of ours, and you'll get over £450.
yeah,
Confident. Oh no, I was going to say they're confident they both come in, but they won't, because one of ours will lose if the other one
yeah.
doesn't with the Bivol. Yeah, but
True.
no, I do think that I think that there's definitely, I think yours is definitely a safer bet, which so it depends on what you want to do. If you're ready to, if you're willing to take a risk, why not put it on the 40-1, or if you want to rack up a bit of a £50 or so just ahead of Christmas, yeah, I'd say maybe definitely take yours. And
Yeah.
on a side note, I'd just like to say, well done to anyone that took the Anthony Yard stoppage rounds 1-6. Because I know obviously the treble, neither of our trebles, I believe, won or doubles.
Close.
But Yard 1-6 was one of the ones I mentioned, and it was 11-2. So
yeah, man.
some people backed that, which was definitely a good price.
Big time. Yeah, well done to yourself for picking that, mate. I didn't. I couldn't. I was sitting on the fence right up until the fight ended. To be honest, so to pick that 11-2, yeah, really good bet. Really, you should be really proud of yourself for that one. That was really good. Cool. Well, I think that wraps things up, Paul. I think we'll be back next weekend for, I imagine, the final show of the year, which should be great. And then we'll get going again next year. But yeah, thanks very much for thanks very much for your time again, and look forward to gloating about winning bets on Sunday.
Absolutely, I'll let all the best. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Take care.